I just replaced the front and rear sprocket and final drive chain on a 2009 Kawasaki KLR 650. This setup here has a really high final drive gear ratio of 2.5 to 1, and I got that by using a 16-tooth front sprocket and a 40-tooth rear sprocket. I put this on new, ran it for quite a few miles, and replaced it due to wear, so I've got quite a few miles on it. Before I chuck everything, I thought I would do a quick video and just talk about the advantage and disadvantages I found using this setup. I can only think of one advantage, and that is improved freeway riding, because it lowers the engine RPM at freeway speeds, which decreases noise and vibration. I guess that the importance of that advantage, that advantage becomes more important the more freeway riding you do, but I really don't know why anyone who would buy a KLR if they have to do a lot of freeway riding, because in my opinion it wasn't, there are better choices, and I don't think it was really meant for that. But you know, I don't know. Kawasaki sometimes refers to it as a dual sport and sometimes refers to it as an adventure bike, so I've read some people complain that with the higher final drive gear ratio they have trouble passing cars. I never had that problem. The two biggest disadvantages I found was for riding in city streets, stop and go, and around town is I would find myself lugging the engine more and have to downshift, and also I would find myself slipping the clutch more to get going. Especially around where I live, because there's a lot of hills, and there's one street in particular where I stop in the middle of the hill, and I would just have to slip the clutch more to get going than if I was using a lower final drive gear ratio. And that was my biggest problem, because that increases clutch disc wear. So I let this stuff wear out, and then I replaced it. I went back to a lower gear ratio. I didn't go back to the stock. The stock gear ratio is a 2.86 to 1, and they get that by using a 15-tooth front and a 43 rear. I went back to a 16-tooth front and a 43 rear, giving me a final drive gear ratio of 2.68 to 1. And I think that's a good compromise between the stock OEM final drive gear ratio and a much higher final drive gear ratio. So I guess that's it. I just wanted to mention those things. I know there's a big KLR community out there, and a lot of people end up you know, changing the final drive gear ratio to suit whatever riding they like to do. So I thought I would throw this out there and maybe help someone to make a decision what final drive gear ratio to use. I would like to start doing some desert riding in the future, and I may actually go back to the stock gear ratio, or maybe even go lower to maybe a 14 front and a 43 rear. But I don't know. For right now, I think the 1643 is a good compromise. So I'm going to stick with that for a while. So anyway, thanks for watching.